Hello, thank you for clicking on this recording. My name is Fabrice Jaumont. I'm an educator, a researcher, and the author of a few books, including The Bilingual Revolution. The future of education is in two languages. Yes, we can do a bilingual revolution together. This is the purpose of this presentation. I will show you a few slides, try to convince you that we can change the way our school systems see education in one language or two languages or three languages. My point here is that together we can create multilingual education in our schools, and it's for the benefit of us all. So I'll show you also a few videos, short videos, to get you interested in this prospect with concrete examples. All right. Let me share the screen with you. This is a presentation I have given a number of times, both in person and also through Zoom. And the idea behind this is that there is a need to discuss why we need a bilingual revolution in our schools, why we need to encourage linguistic communities to join this movement and work with educators like yourselves and parents to create dual language programs in their schools. I've written a book which has now been translated in 11 languages. We're about to release the Chinese version, the Portuguese version, but it's, as you can see, it's already available in a number of languages. The reason why we need to start with this question is why we need a bilingual revolution is because our approach to education is still fairly monolingual. And like my friend Greg Roberts said, monolingualism is the illiteracy of the 21st century, and I believe him. This is where we should come in by creating an environment that is respectful of our cultures, our families, our linguistic heritage, but also we need to invite parents from all walks of life, from all origins, to enter a dialogue with schools and also try to foster greater respect for our linguistic and cultural diversities, so that at least we bridge those gaps in our communities. I myself I come from France. My children speak French to me at home, and my wife and I are determined to raise our children in two languages. And they go to a French dual language program in a public school in Brooklyn, and we are so thrilled that they can continue to develop both their English literacy and their language skills, but also their French literacy. And this is crucial for us as a family. It is crucial for us as French Americans to sustain both languages and both cultures. This comes also with the support of legendary scholars like Ofelia Garcia, who, like myself, believe that we must listen to our linguistic families and return this notion that they have a power and a desire to raise their children and have their children educated in two languages. And that is a U-turn. She talks of a U-turn. Well, I talk about a revolution, which is again a U-turn, where we need to pay attention to the wishes of communities and families and immigrant groups to raise their children in two languages. There are things that need to be clarified. Now, being bilingual is not a handicap. It is definitely not something that will hurt a child's IQ or slow down his or her verbal development. These are myths that need to be broken. being bilingual is not something superfluous. It's not a privilege. You don't have to pay $30,000 or $40,000 per year to educate your child in a bilingual program. So being bilingual should be for everyone. And being bilingual is also, if you're an immigrant, it should not be a taboo, should not be something that you want to hide or you want to discourage your children from speaking and sharing your language and culture. So for me, being bilingual is the new norm, and it must start with our youngest citizens. And I'll show you a few examples of communities that have started this bilingual revolution. It started over 30 years ago for Spanish speaking communities. And here is an example in Brooklyn, the Cypress Hills Community School, where parents and educators have created a strong dual language program in Spanish and English and served thousands of children in a meaningful way. And here in the picture, there's two ladies next to me are both principal and parent, and they share the leadership at the school. And this is how parents also are empowered and engaged within that school. Other communities have tried to follow in their footsteps. And here I'm with a group of Russian parents and Russian American families. And they've tried and tried and tried several times to convince the Department of Education here in New York City, where I'm based. But unfortunately, and for a number of reasons, there was no success for many of these parents until 10 years ago. A Russian mom, Maria Kot, decided to take on the Department of Education to court and won her case in asking them to create a Russian dual language program in Brooklyn. And other families followed up. And this group here in the picture was able to create another Russian dual language program in Harlem. And this is important because despite the image that your language or your community may have, sometimes for political reasons or racial reasons or racist reasons, in many cases, it's important to keep on fighting and keep on claiming your rights to have your children educated in a language that matters to you, that you feel close to. The other group here has also suffered a number of hardship and discrimination, but the program, the Arabic dual language program at PSIS 30, has now been in function for over 10 years and has been successful in teaching and organizing a program in two languages within a public schools. Now, there were precedents included in the story of a school that was called the Khalid Gibran School that really went through a lot of difficulties trying to get everyone on board and convinced that an Arabic English dual language program was good. Unfortunately, under a lot of pressure, the school was terminated, but this initiative here is still going and is still going very strong. And hopefully children will be graduating from that school, at least in the 8th grade and maybe later on if a high school program is created. But it's just to show that many communities aspire for these kinds of programs, and we need to support them in many ways. Here I'm pausing a little bit to show you an example of a Japanese dual language program. And it started when a group of mothers, and you see them in the picture, came to see me a few years ago and wanted to create New York City's first Japanese dual language program. And they were so well organized, so dedicated that in a matter of 6 months, they were able to find the right school in Brooklyn. And now this school is in Bushwick, Brooklyn. So I don't know if you're familiar with Bushwick, Brooklyn, but it's not Japanese. And it's predominantly Puerto Rican. But in the school, many children who speak Spanish at home also come to school and speak Japanese with Japanese speaking children. So here's a video that will show you in a few minutes how beautiful these programs can be and how they can really impact a school, a community, and even a city like New York.
We are the only school in the entire Department of Education that hosts the first Japanese dual language program. The children are learning Japanese and English through all of the subjects.
アメリカ人の先生のコーティーチャーと、あと日本人の先生が2人体制で、だいたい半分が日本語で、半分が英語で勉強してます。日本語のバックグラウンドがある子どもたちと、そうじゃない子たちが一緒のクラスで学習しています。
I believe in the power of bilingualism. When children are proficient in two languages, their cognitive development is at a much higher level.
Bilingual students have better results in math than monolingual students on those standardized tests. That's been proven by a number of studies. Being bilingual is not just about languages, it's so much more.
クリエイティビティ、答えがないものに対してそれを答えを導き出す力っていうのがすごくあるなっていうふうに感じます。
You're tapping into different parts of the brain as you're speaking two languages. So your brain is more active.
Starting in kindergarten and pre-K is a great age for children to start to learn a second language.
It actually sinks into your brain much more and it's much more natural.
毎日日本語に触れているっていうのはすごく大きいと思います。すごい勢いで習得してます。英語が遅れていることも全然なくて、学ぶことをすごく楽しく感じてるみたいです。
When you really think about it, it is a specialized program. The students do exceptionally well.
違った言語を学ぶことで、世界の違う国とか文化とか考え方、やっぱりいろんなことを考えさせるきっかけになると思うんですよ。
It really opens your mind to the world outside. And it doesn't just open your mind, but it opens your heart.
They show greater empathy, respect culture, respect others, and generate tolerance and greater understanding for others.
She has the opportunity to see the world through many different eyes.
日本語が自分ができるっていうことがすごく嬉しい。誇りに思えているように思います。
これからの世の中を良くしていける子どもたちを育てることができるんじゃないかなっていうふうに私は思ってます。もっと面白く、もっと楽しく、もっと意味があるようなカリキュラムになるようにっていうのは常にチャレンジしながらやってます。やっぱ子供たちが日本語が好きって言ってくれるのがすごく嬉しいです。すごい私やっててよかったなっていうふうに思います。
Through this JDLP program, I personally have gained a lot of very close friends.
2015年に保護者の熱い声でできたプログラムです。
Parents are our partners.
I feed off their energy.
Because it's so grassroots, parents have to be involved. And in that way, families do come together. When the children see that the parents are building a community, they build their own community as well. They're like brothers and sisters.
子育てっていうのは学校だけじゃなくて家庭とコミュニティとみんなが集まってやることでより素晴らしいものができると思うんですね。でそれの理想形が今千代7であるんじゃないかなっていうふうに感じます。
To see them thrive in this program, it just floors me. It makes me so happy.
この子たちが日本とアメリカで世界をつなぐ架け橋になってくれたら嬉しいです。
I can't think of a better way of teaching our children.
So I hope you enjoy this video. This is something that I'm very proud of, and we're so emotional when we watch this video again and again. And I think it encapsulates the whole idea behind the bilingual revolution of parents engaging with the school, trying to convince the school community that this kind of education is beneficial and can serve everyone. And even this school in Bushwick was once visited by Japan's first lady, who came to Bushwick, Brooklyn, visit a public school to give $30,000 to support the program. This just shows you how impactful these kinds of programs can be in the right settings, and when it's done properly with so much passion and enthusiasm from everyone involved. So this is a slide that shows the kind of work I've been doing in the recent years through a foundation that I created called the Center for the Advancement of Languages, Education and Communities, or CALEC. And we're trying to provide resources and advice and guidance to parents who are interested in bringing dual language program to their schools. Again, the central idea for us is that parents are at the center of change, and they are capable of organizing other parents and their entire communities around an initiative like this. Once they are empowered, and once we tell them how they can even go about engaging with a community and a school. Of course, it's hard work. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's something that has inspired many communities. And here, I'll show you how this is done. This is simple. This is a roadmap that I share in my book and on our website as well. This is the 3 steps approach to getting a community engaged and finding the right school and the right school principal. But it begins with the beginning, where you need to outreach to create your base of interested families, and this is done either on playgrounds or preschools or in cultural centers, via newspapers, radios, everything that will make you reach out to other parents with younger children. And then you need to canvass your neighborhood and find people that will support you, but also find a school that will work with you, that will be interested in your idea, interested in your vision, and find it possibly something they could start in the school. Finally, once the school is found and the program is launched, I keep reminding parents that their job is not finished. They need to support the school, support the principal all the time, whether through fundraising, whether through finding books and programs, whether to helping recruit teachers and more. But this has been successful in many, many schools. And here I'm showing an interesting example of a high school that started a Chinese dual language program. And it was not something, it was not a given at the beginning. Not everyone wanted to put their children in the program. And now the school is one of the top ranked high schools in the US with newspapers and rankings praising the work that is done by this school, a high school with a Chinese dual language program. Here I am, you see, this is the case of the French speaking communities in New York, where we found thousands and thousands of children who speak French at home, but have no way of accessing French bilingual programs. So guess what? If they don't find a school to support their language, the chances are they will lose that language. It will just disappear in no time. So this is why we're putting this on a large scale. We're hoping to convince more community leaders, groups of parents, but also elected officials to join this movement and help us find more schools and support more families in every borough in New York City, but in many other places in the US and even in other countries now. Other communities are following the same examples. The German families have embarked in a similar process. The Korean families are trying to create programs. Here you see us with a group of parents in Brooklyn, and I like the picture because there's a bridge right behind us, and it is what these programs are. They are bridges between cultures. They're not walls, if you see what I mean. They're bridges. This is definitely about creating mutual understanding, respect for others, tolerance, and ultimately peace. The Greek parents have tried and still trying, despite a lot of resistance from school administrators, and they are determined to create a Greek dual language program. The Polish community for years and years was against the idea of starting a dual language program in a public school, but now things have changed, and more families want their children to be educated in two languages, and they hope that public schools, can help them do that, from Monday to Friday. The Italian community has been successful in recent years in creating more programs like this in New York, and they're hoping to spread those programs elsewhere. And here's another quick video that I wanted to show you, to show how parents get engaged and how parents get organized and how they are trying to convince others to join their effort.
I have 3 kids, and I started speaking Italian to my kids from day one, and it's been working okay until they started going to school. That's where I understood that it was really important to find a school that had Italian, and we could find none.
The project was started by 2 families and has managed to reach many more in all the boroughs. What I was hearing was, if there is no demand, it means there are no Italians, they want to learn Italian. So it's been quite important for us to show everybody, hey, guess what, we're here.
We managed to convince the Department of Education to create an Italian dual language program in Manhattan, but we don't want to stop here. There's a lot of families in other boroughs, and it would be awesome if they could create the same opportunity in different boroughs.
What's interesting about this possibility of an Italian school in New York is that 50% would be Italian kids, and the rest would be kids whose language is not Italian. So this whole exchange of diversity of thought is something that we are really missing in this world, and to be able to offer that in a public school environment in New York City would be just possibly for me a dream come true.
It's
It's really important to me to find a good school community. Cultures, multicultural, multiracial. We wanted her to be in an environment where both sides of our identity kind of recognize and met.
For us, it's extremely important that he has a bilingual education because it's a way to make him hopefully a better citizen of the world.
Join
Join the Bilingual Revolution.
So we are definitely about empowering multilingual families and linguistic communities. I invite you to take a look at our website, caleg.org, where we put a lot of resources and things that can be downloaded for free and that support families and parents. Also, I wanted to give you something, give you my book. You can download it. Download the ebook for free on this website, tbrbooks.org, using this code, CALEC. Download it in the language of your choosing, and then get back to me. Just give me your feedback and what this book meant and what you got from it. We need to work together, and we need to create this bilingual revolution together. This is dual language education for all. Everyone benefits from it. It's also an equitable model, inclusive model, empowering every members of the communities, empowering linguistic communities in particular. This is the best pathways to understanding who we are and connecting with our families, our friends, connecting with other people that speak the same language. It's important that we nurture these languages. These languages should not be wasted. They should not be squandered. And also, again, these are bridges. These programs are bridges. They foster respect, tolerance, mutual understanding, and promote peace if we do them together. So this is my contact information. Please get back to me with your feedback on my book and on this presentation, and let's work together. Thank you, everyone.